Now, how did you prepare? Because your looks were so incredible.
Thank you.
How much time did you have to prepare, and like, what was your preparation?
I mean, they would give us about 2 to 3 days between issuing the challenge to filming the episode. So it was like 2 or 3 days of just no sleeping, just making. And I made everything I wore except the gown I was crowned in.
Right.
So I would show up to set on like no sleep, exhausted out of my mind, like hawk loose strings trailing behind me.
Because that process is different than Drag Race, where Drag Race, they
Yeah.
get like the list, and then they have a few weeks, and then they got to go and bring everything.
Yeah, now, unfortunately, now we've had to do that with the coming seasons.
Because it's international now.
Because it's international now, and season 2, if contestants went out and tried to get materials, they would get clocked. It's like, what is Victoria Black from Florida doing in Santee Alley? You know?
Yes, exactly. But for this one, because nobody knew what it was, and
Yeah.
everyone was in LA, you were able to have a little more time, so you could just get into your costume mode.
Yeah, like the day of the issuing, I would rush downtown, get my materials, go home, and just.
Well, let's go through some of these looks because they are stunning. Let's look at the episode 1 witch look. I mean, look at her.
Oh my
Wow.
God. That's actually, I think, my favorite challenge, and it was the first one. That was my favorite challenge.
Now, what's the inspiration behind this incredible look?
I was always very inspired by like Betty Davis as Queen Elizabeth when she shaved her hairline back for the film.
Yes.
And I saw it as a kid and I was like, that bitch looks so scary. Like, I want to be that bitch. So that's where I kind of took like a lot of my looks. I do the really far back forehead. Part of it is Divine and part of it is Betty Davis as Queen Elizabeth. And I've always been very inspired by period fashions, like Victorian fashions and things like that, Elizabethan fashion. So like the bodice is very Elizabethan, but the skirt was kind of like a weird like mushroom skirt, and the shaved back hairline was also like kind of Elizabethan nod. So
Now, when you show up in that, and some of the other girls are putting their stuff together with duct tape and paper clips, what was their reaction?
Well, you know, I did too. You just don't see them on the outfit. They're hidden, they're concealed within.
Right. Okay, let's take a look at this episode 3 look, which is the Death Valley episode.
Oh, yay. Oh, God, that was...
There you are. I mean, Vander, genius.
That was the hardest fucking episode. That's the hardest film shoot I've done in my life. That was like, I mean, in full drags in Death Valley, like, I don't wish that shit on anyone. And we were shooting for maybe like 10 plus hours, just roasting in drag.
Oh my God. Now, take me back to that day. Like, what's a typical day on that original Dragula set?
They were actually very I hope the belays don't read me for this. They were actually very short because we had very few we had very few cameras. We didn't really have sound equipment, so like there wasn't much to set up. We didn't have many lights, so it was kind of like action, you know? So it was actually really quick. I remember the first day, like the witch episode, I think we shot in like under 7 hours, which is why for a shoot day is like extremely short. But now they reached like the 12 to 15 hour mark.
Now, you made it to the finale.
Yeah.
And that finale was grand.
Yeah.
But before you got to the finale, y'all had to do that reunion, the run right before, where you guys sat at the long table. Tell me about that, because that was brutal.
That was, you know, for me, it wasn't brutal. It was, oh God. Actually, Drac has already talked about this, so I'll share the story.
Okay.
So, before we even started filming, tensions were fucking out the roof. Because we were seated at this table that was meant to look like the Last Supper, right? And there's all these goblets of wine that are like fake blood, and there's like a vase with fake blood, this whole setup. And, you know, they're instructed, be super careful, don't spill the chalices. And Swan and Drac are in head-to-toe white.
Oh no!
So Drac sits down. One of the producers goes to like adjust something, and a big ass chalice just boom, and just like blood soaks her dress.
Wow.
And she just goes, I need to walk away. And just like walks away silently.
Oh.
And then the producer started crying.
Oh no.
And then she like calmed down, she came back. We had to adjust how the whole thing was gonna be shot because now they couldn't stand up because her dress was ruined. And so before we even started, everyone was just on pins and needles.
I bet. Now you went to the extreme in that finale. You vomited on stage.
Yeah.
What was the decision for that, and how did it work?
I wanted to do an homage to Divine, and I was like, I can't eat actual shit, so I have to make fake shit. But like, that's not really that disgusting. It just looks disgusting. So I was like, how can I really make this gross? And that was, I guess, my own way of amping it up. And the way I did it was right before I went on stage, I ate a foot-long buffalo chicken Subway sandwich, just like scarfed it down, and I put 2 little bottles of Fireball in my bra. And as I was walking down the runway, my stomach was really full, and I was in a really tight corset, and then I chugged the Fireball, and it just all came out.
Wow. And that is when they knew you had to be the super monster because of the dedication.
Oh, yeah, that was, I still can't eat buffalo chicken Subway sandwiches.
Now, what did you think of the girls in the top 3 with you?
I thought they were great. I really thought Melissa was gonna take it. I really wasn't like in my mind setting myself up to win. I was just like, if I win, that's great, but it's probably Melissa. I really thought it was gonna be her. She's incredible. Frankie was really great, but I felt like Melissa was just the clear, like, I mean, I was scared shitless of her the moment I saw her on set.
Now, what was the finale like? Did they do a drag race where everybody filmed their winning?
Yeah, we do. I mean, almost every reality show now will film multiple winners unless they do it live because it's so hard to keep it under wraps.
Yeah, secret. Mm-hmm. So that night at Precinct, when they showed the finale, that was when you knew you won?
Not exactly. So fun fact, the final episode was accidentally leaked for like a minute or something on YouTube. I remember it was like for a split, like a very couple minutes, they accidentally posted it that morning.
Oh, that's somebody over here at Qween that they're already fired, so don't worry about it.
And,
they were fired, obviously.
And people, who were subscribed, it gives you that notification of a new
my
upload.
God.
So people scroll to the bottom. So like I woke up that morning and people were sending me screenshots
I didn't even know that.
Of the crowning. Yeah. So I found out like when I woke up that morning.
Right. And so when you realized that you had won, what were you feeling?
Oh my God, I was lying in bed just like shook. Like I didn't even get up. I was just like a potato. And I don't know, it's one of those things, like it didn't hit me right away. It like, over the course of the days, I was just like, okay, that happened. That's okay. It was just, I don't know, the whole experience it's just so insane. It's really, I can't tell people how insane it, like you really have to live it. You have to go through it to really understand how insane it is to go through that kind of experience.
Yeah. All right, well, you had a lot of crazy characters on that first season of Dragula, and we want to know more about what you thought of them. So we're going to play a little round of Kiki, Kai Kai, Kill. All right, Vander. Now, this is an easy game. We're going to show you 3 queens, and you're just going to have to let us know which one you want to kiki with, have fun, which one you want to kai-kai with, have fun, and which one, in true Dragula fashion, you want to stab and gut and rip out their throat. Kill, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's start with our first trio of monsters. Okay, we have Pinche, Melissa B. Fierce, Frankie Doom. That is quite a 3-way right there.
Yeah. Let's see. I would kiki with Pinche because she's my homegirl and we're tight. I would fuck Melissa because Twitter would go nuts.
Yes.
Twitter would go nuts.
Talk about a kai-kai.
And she has an OnlyFans. I have it just for fans, so like content bitch. And I would kill Frankie because she just comes back from the dead. You can just keep stabbing her and she'll just fall into the grave and like at some point, scamper her way back.
Meatball, Landon Cider, Bitch Puddin'.
Oh,
so that's 2 winners and one of your cast members.
I know. I would hands down, Kai with Landon in the Wolfman look. Because when we were on set and he walked out in that look, my panties flooded.
Wow.
He looked so fucking hot in that like wolf daddy leather getup. So I would Kai with Landon.
Yes.
I would. It was Meatball, and then who was the other?
Bitch Puddin'.
And Bitch Pudding. Oh God. I would kill Meatball. She's like, if there's ever been a drag terrorist, it's Meatball. So I would kill Meatball. Also, could you imagine the sales on her Hip Dot palette?
Right.
Meatball's Hip Dot palette, go buy it. The sales would be through the roof. And I would Kiki with Bitch Pudding.